This couple adopts a little monster. They bottle feed her, dress her, and raise her like their own daughter. But the child's birth mother, a ewe, stands outside the window every day calling for her. No matter what, the couple refuses to give her back. So how exactly was this child born? Maria and her husband, Ingvar, live on this farm, raising sheep and growing crops. They once had a daughter, but she passed away at a young age. Maria hasn't been able to get pregnant since. Over time, the couple has grown increasingly quiet. Their days are spent feeding the sheep, tending the fields, and repairing equipment. When lambing season arrives, they spend every day in the barn helping the ewes give birth. They clean each newborn lamb, record its number, and return it to its mother. They've done it so many times that the whole process has become routine. One day, a ewe gives birth, and Maria stares at the newborn for a long time. But instead of returning the baby to its mother, she wraps it in a blanket and carries it into the house. Ingvar doesn't stop her. He simply follows her inside. Maria places the baby in a tub, prepares some formula, and carefully feeds her with a bottle. Ingvar pulls an old crib out of storage, wipes off the dust, and sets it up in the bedroom. They name the child Ada and dress her in little girl's clothes. They care for her just like any other baby, and for the first time in years, the couple begins to smile again. But the ewe soon follows them to the house. Every day, she stands outside the bedroom window, calling out to Ada. Whenever Maria hears her, she closes the curtains or goes outside and chases her away. Ingvar never says anything, but one day, while driving the tractor alone, he suddenly breaks down in tears. He knows none of this is normal, but he can't bring himself to take away the happiness Maria has finally found. One day, the couple returns from working on the farm and discovers that Ada is gone. A thick fog has settled over the land, so they immediately split up and search everywhere, from the barn to the river and the surrounding hills. Maria keeps calling Ada's name, but there's no answer. The farther she walks into the fog, the more terrified she becomes. Then they hear the ewe calling in the distance. At the bottom of a hill, they finally find Ada. The ewe is standing beside her, trying to lead her back to the flock. Maria rushes over and picks Ada up, while Ingvar takes off his coat and wraps it around her. Only now do we finally see the child clearly. Ada has the head of a lamb, but her body and legs are human. Her right hand is still a hoof. She can't speak, but she understands the couple and walks like a human child. Maria doesn't care what she looks like. She stands between Ada and the ewe, refusing to let the animal come near her daughter again. Not long after that, a car stops near the farm. Several men open the trunk and dump Peter and his luggage on the side of the road. Peter used to be a musician, but after racking up a huge gambling debt, his creditors brought him all the way out here. With no money and nowhere else to go, he grabs his bags and heads to the farm to stay with his brother, Ingvar. Meanwhile, the ewe continues standing outside the window every day, calling for her baby. Maria finally reaches her breaking point. While Ingvar is away, she takes the hunting rifle outside and shoots the ewe. Then she drags the body through the rain and buries it far from the house. Maria thinks no one saw her, but Peter has just reached the farm and is watching from a distance. Peter doesn't go inside right away. He sleeps in the barn that night and meets his brother the next day. Ingvar is happy to see him and invites him to stay. At dinner, Maria leads Ada into the room. The moment Peter sees the child with a lamb's head, his face goes completely blank. At first, Peter assumes the couple is simply keeping a sheep inside the house, but then he sees Ada walking in clothes and watches Maria bathe her like a mother caring for her child. That's when he realizes the situation is much stranger than he thought. Peter privately asks Ingvar why they're treating an animal like a child. Ingvar doesn't explain. He only says that Ada has brought happiness back into their home. Peter can't accept it. When the couple isn't looking, he pulls up a handful of grass and holds it in front of Ada's mouth, deliberately reminding his brother that she's still a sheep. Ingvar immediately picks Ada up and tells Peter he can stay as long as he wants, but he can never treat the child that way again. Peter also acts strangely around Maria. Whenever Ingvar isn't watching, Peter moves closer and makes his intentions obvious. It seems the two had some kind of relationship in the past, but neither of them wants to talk about it. But Maria only wants to protect her husband and Ada, and she refuses to respond to Peter. Early one morning, while the couple is still asleep, Peter takes the hunting rifle and leads Ada alone into the hills. He tells her to stand with her back to him, then slowly raises the gun. Ada has no idea what he intends to do. She simply stands there and waits. But as Peter looks at the child standing quietly in front of him, he can't bring himself to pull the trigger. Maria wakes up, realizes Ada is missing, and frantically searches the house. When she finally sees them again, Peter has set the gun aside and is asleep with Ada in his arms. He chose not to hurt the child who trusted him, and from that day on, his attitude toward her slowly begins to change. Later, Maria takes Ada to a grave. The name carved into the headstone is also Ada. It belonged to the daughter Maria and Ingvar lost, and now they've given it to the child standing in front of Maria. Maria has never been able to let go of the past, and Ada has filled the emptiest place in her heart. Peter now treats Ada like his own niece. He plays with her around the farm, takes her for rides on the tractor, and rows with her across the lake. Ingvar reads her stories, while Ada helps Maria with simple chores. This strange family finally seems to have accepted one another. One day, Peter takes Ada out on the tractor, but the machine breaks down halfway through the trip. He spends a long time trying to fix it, but nothing works. With no other choice, he leaves the tractor in the field and walks home with Ada. That night, the three adults drink together and pull out an old video of Peter performing when he was younger. Peter starts singing along with the music, and Maria and Ingvar start dancing with him. Ada watches quietly for a while, then leaves the room by herself. Ada steps outside, and the sheepdog follows her. A familiar breathing sound comes from the darkness as a towering shadow appears near the barn. The dog immediately starts barking and charges toward it, while Ada freezes in fear. Moments later, a terrible cry rings out in the darkness. The shadow also takes the farm's hunting rifle. Ada runs back inside and stares at herself in the mirror. Then she looks at the picture of the flock hanging on the wall. She has no way to tell anyone what she saw. The three adults are still drinking and enjoying the music, unaware that danger has already reached their door. Ingvar gets drunk and goes to bed first. Peter tries to come on to Maria again, but she rejects him. He then reveals that he saw what she did and threatens to tell Ada that Maria killed the ewe. Peter knows Maria's greatest fear is losing the child, so he uses the secret to pressure her into giving in. Maria pretends to change her mind and leads Peter to the storage room. As soon as he lets his guard down, she shoves him inside and locks the door from the outside. No matter how hard Peter pounds on the door, Maria refuses to open it. She has decided that Ada is her daughter, and she won't let anyone tear this family apart. The next morning, Maria lets Peter out and drives him and his luggage to a bus stop. She gives him some money and tells him she only wants to start over with Ingvar and Ada. When the bus arrives, Peter gets on alone, and Maria immediately heads back to the farm. By then, Ingvar has just woken up and realizes that both his wife and his brother are gone. Ada joins him for breakfast, and then the two go outside to look for the missing sheepdog. After searching for a long time without finding it, Ingvar takes Ada to the field to repair the tractor that broke down the day before. He checks the machine over and over, but it still won't start. Eventually, Ingvar gives up and begins walking home with Ada. As they pass the hills, Ada suddenly stops, as if she can sense something approaching. Before Ingvar can react, a gunshot shatters the silence of the valley. Ingvar falls to the ground and struggles to look behind him. The creature that has been hiding in the snow since the beginning finally reveals itself. It has the towering body of a man and the head of a ram with curved horns. In its hands is the farm's missing hunting rifle. The creature fires again, then walks over to Ada and takes her human hand. It leads her away toward the mountains. Ada cries and looks back, reaching toward Ingvar with her hoof, but she can't stay. All Ingvar can do is lie there and watch the child he raised disappear into the distance. When Maria returns home, she realizes that Ingvar and Ada are both missing. She races out of the farm and searches along the hills until she finds Ingvar lying on the ground. Maria holds her husband and repeatedly asks where Ada is, but Ingvar can no longer speak. Moments later, he dies in her arms. Maria walks alone into the empty wilderness, calling Ada's name over and over, but no one answers. She once took another mother's child, believing that if she gave Ada enough love, the girl would belong to her forever. But when love turns into possession, it leaves behind more than happiness. It also brings a price that must eventually be paid. What makes Time's Lamb Time so painful isn't the question of who has a greater right to be Ada's parents. It's that everyone else keeps deciding where she belongs. Maria and Ingvar gave her a warm and loving home, but they also took her away from the life she was born into.